The night was damp with fog and tension, the kind of night where shadows stretch too long and whispers feel louder than they should. Outside the sleek, towering facade of the Westmore Hotel, hidden in the calm hush of the LA hills, a woman lay motionless. Her name, at first, meant nothing. No ID, no phone, no purse. Just a silk scarf knotted around her throat and eyes that stared, wide open, into the void. Inside, on the top floor, Dr. Taylor Hayes was finishing up a private therapy session. Her patient, a man with no name, only fragments of memories and eyes that darted like prey, had been coming for weeks. She didn't ask too much. She knew trauma when she saw it. And he was soaked in it. But tonight, something was different. He cut the session short, mumbling about someone watching him. Taylor was used to paranoia. But the moment she stepped out into the hallway, the sirens were already blaring. Detectives swarmed the scene. Hotel guests peered through curtains. And Taylor, standing in her coat with her bag slung over her shoulder, was quickly pulled into a spiral she never saw coming. The first blow came fast. Security footage showed Taylor leaving the building just minutes before the body was found, on the same side of the hotel, near the emergency exit. A witness claimed they saw a woman matching Taylor's description arguing with someone in the alley an hour before the murder. And then came the real kicker. Fibers from Taylor's scarf were found clinging to the victim's jacket. It didn't make sense. Taylor had no idea who the woman was. She had no motive, but the evidence was stacking like bricks and the press wasted no time. Headlines blared. Famous psychiatrist linked to gruesome murder. Rich Forrester rushed to her side, furious at the accusations and ready to defend her, but his reaction wasn't the only thing the police found curious. Because the more they dug into the identity of the victim, the murkier everything became. Her name was finally revealed: Eva Maddox. A former model turned real estate agent with a complicated past. No next of kin. No clear job. No real connections in the city, or so it seemed. Until a file turned up. Not with the police, but buried deep in the archives of a gossip magazine that had tried, and failed, to take down the Forrester family years ago. The file included photos of Eva and Ridge, cozy together at a private event in Milan nearly a decade ago. Back then, she was just a friend. But one photo stood out: Ridge and Eva in a quiet corner, too close, too familiar. And Ridge's hand on the small of her back. When confronted, Ridge didn't deny knowing Eva. He admitted they'd had a brief fling during one of his on-again, off-again separations from Brooke. It didn't mean anything, he said. She moved on. So did I. But he never told anyone. Not Taylor. Not Brooke. Not even the cops until the photos surfaced. The detectives now had a new angle. If Ridge had lied once, what else was he hiding? They began pulling hotel records, phone logs, travel receipts. It turned out Eva had checked into the Westmore 2 days before the murder under a fake name. And during that time, someone had visited her. A man with no security footage, no clear ID. Just a signature on a room service slip. R. Forrester. Ridge swore it wasn't him. His alibi was tight. He'd been in a board meeting at Forrester Creations with a dozen witnesses. But the signature was uncanny. Even Brooke, when shown the handwriting, paused for just a second too long. The pressure mounted. Taylor was under house arrest, her medical license temporarily suspended. Her children tried to help, but the investigation had already taken its toll. Steffi nearly punched a reporter outside their home. Thomas dug into old contacts, trying to find anyone who had heard Eva's name before. What he found changed everything. Eva wasn't just a fling. She had been obsessed with Ridge for years. Emails recovered from an encrypted server revealed she had been tracking his movements, even scheduling accidental encounters during his travels. She had tried to get close again 2 years ago in Paris, but Ridge had brushed her off. Then came a breakthrough, or what looked like one. A housekeeper at the hotel claimed to have seen a man in a hooded jacket outside Eva's room the night before the murder. The description was vague, but enough to suggest someone else had been involved. Yet, the police were still locked in on Taylor. Desperate, Taylor began digging on her own. Her anonymous patient, the man she'd been treating, had left behind a notebook. Scribbled notes. Names. One in particular caught her eye. EM won't stop. At first, she didn't connect the initials. But then she saw another note. She said she'd destroy him. Take everything. Watch him fall. Was this patient talking about Eva? She tried to reach him again, but he vanished. No calls, no appointments. Nothing. Ridge, meanwhile, began to crumble under the weight of suspicion. Brooke was livid. You lied to me. Again. She moved out. Steffi begged him to come clean about anything else, but Ridge insisted, I didn't kill her. I didn't even see her. Then came the real twist. The murder weapon, a heavy glass perfume bottle, was found in a dumpster behind the hotel. It had fingerprints. And they weren't Taylor's. They weren't Ridge's. They belonged to someone else entirely. Sheila Carter. The name alone sent shockwaves through the LAPD. Through everyone. Sheila, long thought to be dead or at least missing, had resurfaced. And now she was the prime suspect in a murder that had nearly destroyed Taylor's life. The detectives scrambled. The story changed overnight. Taylor was released. Ridge apologized for hiding the truth, but couldn't explain why Sheila's prints were on the bottle. And what was her connection to Eva? It turned out Eva and Sheila had crossed paths at a rehab center years ago. Eva had confided in Sheila, talked about Ridge, about her obsession, about a plan to win him back. Sheila, ever the opportunist, had seen her opening. She manipulated Eva, pushed her obsession, twisted it into madness. And when Eva finally realized she'd been used, she threatened to go to the police. So Sheila killed her. But Sheila wasn't just trying to silence Eva. She was framing Taylor. The scarf, the location, the timing, all perfectly calculated. Sheila knew Taylor had treated her before. She knew how to mimic behavior, how to fake evidence, how to slip in and out of the shadows. It was the perfect trap. But what Sheila didn't count on was Taylor's resilience, or Ridge's guilt. He pushed the investigation harder than anyone, even after being a suspect himself. And once they had proof, once the pieces finally locked into place, it was Taylor who stood at the press conference, cleared of all charges. But the damage was done. Brooke didn't come back. Ridge was left standing in the ruins of another lie. Taylor, though free, would never forget the betrayal, the doubt in Ridge's eyes, the way he hesitated before believing her. And Sheila? She vanished again. Some say she boarded a plane to South America. Others believe she's still in LA, hiding in plain sight. And as for the man in Taylor's sessions? He never returned. His notes, though, were handed over to the police. They hinted at other crimes, other victims, other secrets. The story wasn't over. It never is on the bold and the beautiful.